Hey y'all, I just want to do a little quick video here. I've been looking for a console that I can take on flight dates that would be pretty compact. Um, and of course, a lot of people suggested LV1, complete LV1 setup. Um, I, I really prefer uh, physical faders and physical knobs, so that way I can get to something quick and I can, really have my eyes on the performer rather than, having to really look down a lot. So somebody suggested the Allen&Heath SQ series. So I've been looking into the SQ6. A friend of mine has kindly, let me drive it for a couple of weeks here, and I found at first I found some of the busing features to be a little bit lacking. Like for example, you can't send an aux to a left-right main. So 'cause the way I usually structure my mixed buses, I would have several stereo mixed buses doing different coloring things, kind of like a approach, that Michael Brower approach. And I would do a post fader send, just a little bit of here, a little bit of there, just to color things. And by itself, the Allen&Heath doesn't let me do that other than, well, I would have to send it to a matrix and have the matrix be the master bus, which then take away my ability to use the matrix as a distributor between PA, video send, recording send, like a typical way people use Matrix for. So, but what I found is actually if you combine it with an LV1, the software alone, it's actually a very powerful tool. And all of that, with a Soundgrid server, LV1, and the Allen&Heath SQ. I think for below 10K. The SQ itself is way below $5,000. It gives you very high quality sound, 96K, and I can spec a local production company to give me maybe like a Digico monitor console, and then feed me MIDI to an MGB, and then it'll be out of the MGB it'll be Soundgrid coming to the console and the LV1. So just want to show you a little bit about how I set that up. The way the Allen&Heath allows you to have digital tie lines and mixed external in. It lets me have the LV1's master bus injected directly into my main left-right bus of the SQ6 without taking up an input channel. And the way that's the mixed external in, and then the way the tie line also works is I can even send the few local inputs, like the SQ6 have 24 local preamps. I can send that to the LV1 as whatever. So basically, this allows me to have 64 channels. This becomes the combination of the two makes it a 64 channel in mixing console, and with full Waves plugins. So if you're interested in that, I just want to show you a little bit on how I do that. So here's the way the console looks. Right. So this is the SQ6. It's got 24 faders, 24 plus 1, 24 plus the master fader, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see this. There you go. So the tie lines. This lets me send my local inputs into the I/O port directly out, and I can control the gain and for phantom power and pad, and it goes straight out into LV1. I can patch it to an I/O port, and so So basically, the trick is you have to install the Soundgrid card on this console, and then you patch it into the LV1. So basically, what that gives me is, out of the MGB 64 channels, the first 48 will go to the SQ6 channel 1 through 48. So I set this up where channel 1 through 48 is on the first 4 layers of the console. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see here. Yeah, it's a little too bright. But anyway, that's all the way to 48 through bank D there. And the way I lay it out is I put all my VCA on all the layers, so that way, whichever layer I go, the VCA stays there. I can always get to the VCAs real quick. This middle section here, I set it up to be, four faders that I like to always be there. So I put a reverb, vocals reverb right there, and delay return right there. And then these two can be like a lead vocal and a guest lead vocal. So they will always be there in every layer. And then, and only on the very last layer, these are the all the master buses, so all the auxes and reverb sense. Effect sense, effects returns, and I put one DCA there called mains, which controls my PAs, send, and sub. And then these are all my 3 matrices. So now, what I like about this situation, I'm going to show you the LV1 side real quick. So to have the SQ be able to control the LV1, you need to download from Allen&Heath the DAW control for the SQ. Pick your operating system and download and install it. And once you install it, they will show in the taskbar or on the Mac. It will be up top. And show preferences. Once you see the preferences, these are the settings that you need. It needs to be Mackie control. I think what works for me is the alt display, MIDI channel 2 from SQ. And as far as the input port, you specify the MIDI in from SQ, and the output port, you specify the MIDI out from SQ. These are the setting that works for me. And by doing that, you get full control over all the banks on the LV1. All right, so this is the LV1 side. As you can see, I set it up. Okay, so I have 12 channels here of inserts for kick, toms, overhead, bass, and then 5 vocal mics with kind of like whatever plugins that I like, coloring and whatnot. And then back to mixer, MGB 49 to 64, and that would be the rest of the inputs from the MGB that the SQ can't handle. So 49 to 64 sits right here. And what I like about it is they also are controllable from the SQ. So the SQ can completely control as far as fader level, mute, and solo, pavo. So as you can see here, if I hit select, that channel gets selected. If I hit mute, that gets muted. If I hit pavo on the console, then the solo, I don't know, let me see here. There you go, pavo. solo. So we have to route the solo bus from the LV1 to join using the mix external in under the input. Oh, sorry, setup, talkback. Sorry, setup, Pavel, external in to. Is that too bright? External into Pavel. So I can set this to come from the I/O port, which is the Soundgrid card, and that way we can combine the Pavel from the LV1 along with this. And then as far as the the master bus from the LV1, we can use the mix external in of and then use an I/O port, and then it will join in the main left and right. So yeah, man, I mean, you know, complete 64 channel 96K console by combining these two consoles together, and everything is fly pack friendly because this console with the SKB case is under 60 pounds. If you want to get the SQ5, it can be below, it can be under 50 pounds. So, you know, depending on the, you know, whether you can fly with 60 or 50, depending, you know, what the airline will allow you, choose accordingly. I really like the way the SQ6 is laid out because it gives you just a little bit more faders while it's still, you know, within 3 to 4 foot width length, and it's really light too. So yeah, there you go. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys get something out of it, and if this is something that you guys are looking for, to be able to carry your own console without it being too heavy, this is a solution. See you guys later.